Who'da thunk watching people FaceTime on their phones with a bad signal while they run around constantly shaking the camera would not a good movie make. Richard Lee's War of the Worlds makes Blair Witch Project look like Blade Runner.
Proud of yourself, little man.
If this were playing in a theater, people would walk out. This movie sucks. It's an endless stream of close-ups of a bunch of people yelling at each other and overreacting, not acting, but overreacting to news footage of a meteor shower, an alien invasion, and the rioting that occurs when we lose our most precious resource, which is, according to the movie, our data.
You jewel.
No lie, that's a line in the movie.
I'll shit you not.
I was gonna write about how the first 10 minutes were just Ice Cube sitting in front of his monitor, but then it became 15 minutes, then 20, then the whole first act. Then it just kept going. He never leaves his computer screen. The entire movie is seen through Ice Cube as he watches everything unfold around the world on his monitor. This film has got to be the cheapest in cinema history. My YouTube binge watch with Andre.
Inconceivable!
I'm getting tired of saying, I want to like this movie, but... I like the Spielberg remake. It was a decent installment, and I remember watching the original as a kid and I loved it. And I've always been a fan of the Orson Welles radio stunt and how it was reworked for the story of They Live. Nice one, Carpenter. And now a new version? With Ice Cube? I'm in.
Falling anywhere, scumbag.
Straight Outta Compton was one of my favorite records in the 80s, and although Ice Cube's acting range makes Stallone look like Daniel Day-Lewis, he's still got a presence, and his gruff persona was used to good effect in Three Kings and Boys in the Hood.
We got a problem here?
Oh, there's a whole lot of problems. One is I could tell how this movie was going to end within the first 10 minutes, and that's not because I know how the War of the Worlds story ends, the adaptation of the H.G. Wells classic. No, I could tell right away they're going to change the ending, and I know how, and I'm sure I'm not alone in figuring this out. And it stinks because it totally undermines what was cool about the original story. So I'll summarize the first act and then give a spoiler warning before I go any further. That being said, you should check this movie out, or at least the first 10 or 15 minutes, to see what life's gonna be like with us being surveilled everywhere we go. And to see how quickly human nature kicks in when the person in charge of the technology exploits this power to spy on everyone in his family. And if that corruption of power can't unite us as a people, I don't know what can. A pandemic didn't, and I'm sure alien invasion won't either. Ice Cube's character spends half his day spying on his family. Don't you got terrorists to watch or something? First act. We start off Ice Cube works for the NSA, and apparently it's a one-man operation. Everything goes through him. There's literally no one else there. Budget cuts? Doge could have at least let him have an assistant. He does have a boss. Apparently Phil Coulson had a promotion to the director of DHS. Ice Cube spends his days monitoring and spying on people, and I do mean Ice Cube. This isn't Ice Cube the actor playing a role. It's Ice Cube pretty much playing himself. Robots be dropping that gank move. We spend 15 minutes FaceTiming with Ice Cube as he spies on his kids, setting up the family backstory, his overprotective parenting which is alienating him from the offspring, and that he's still not over his dead wife. Also, we're watching him carry out our biggest fears of how the government is monitoring everything we do. And I always figure if this is what they're letting us see, then they must be doing even worse things that we don't know about. He monitors and surveils people to an extent that would have made the German secret police blush. I mean, Orwell got nothing on this. And his, what should be considered grossly illegal activities are, however, portrayed in a cozily charming way. It's helicopter parenting simply taken to the next level. With drones. Through these shenanigans, we meet his son who lives at home and aspires to be an online gamer. His prego daughter, who's of course a brilliant scientist, of course. And we meet his son-in-law, and this is the most outrageous thing in the entire movie. I can take hypothetical one-man surveillance operations, I can take alien invasions where they wipe out our satellites, and I'll even go with the absurd notion that they've come for our data. Gee, Amazon, project much? But I draw the line at brilliant female scientist who's married to a working-class delivery driver. Movie.
Fuck you!
Nope, sorry. Many things will happen in this universe, including maybe aliens coming for our data. But
No way, no how.
is a highly educated scientist going out with a working class dude. She might fuck him, but she ain't marrying him. Anyway, back to the more grounded aspects of this alien invasion movie. And I use the term movie loosely as this is a thinly veiled conditioning film to prepare us for being constantly surveilled, as well as being an advertisement for using Amazon. There's literally a scene where the Amazon driver boyfriend factors in on saving the world by using an Amazon delivery drone. Jesus, Amazon, we're watching the movie on Amazon. We're already here, on the site, in the door, and you still need to advertise to us? Your meta marketing is crashing in on itself. This isn't Amazon product placement, it's Amazon Saves the World, which is only fitting as apparently Amazon now owns it. We spend the first act watching Ice Cube argue and annoy his family of what are by now exhausted stereotypes. The conspiracy theorist incel son, the brilliant daughter, of course, and two other women in his life, a scientist at NASA, presumably his love interest, although they don't follow it through, and a CIA agent. Ice Cube juggles conversations with all these people while locating an anonymous-type hacker who's threatening to release a batch of damning MacGuffin emails. Ice Cube directs the CIA agent and her team to the location where they think he's at, by way of an unbelievable amount of video cameras that happen to be along the route. If we really do have this many cameras monitoring our every moves, no wonder kids aren't drinking anymore.
I just want to party!
They got nowhere to hide. We used to drink under train stations, platforms, under bridges, in back of libraries, anywhere. Now there's cameras everywhere.
Where are we gonna party? I don't know.
After Anonymous has led them on a goose chase, our weather satellites go dark, mysteriously, and Earth is bombarded by meteors. Ridiculously, and this really shows the level of audience this movie is aimed at, 9-year-olds? Ridiculously, NASA girlfriend walks up to one of the meteors and touches it. Never mind the thing would probably fry you if you went near it, never mind touch it, and it'd probably be splashing with radiation. No scientist in their right mind would walk up and touch that thing. Then the meteor cracks open and the alien tripods emerge and start wrecking house. Ice Cube then tries to aid his friends and family through his spyware, in any way he can, and the movie does come up with a few creative ways in which he's able to hack into a landscape awash in interconnected devices and vehicles. Okay, spoiler warning if you need one, but if you are interested in this story, I suggest the original 1953 film by Byron Haskin, or the Steven Spielberg version if you prefer something more updated, or read the novel. But skip this one. Both of the previous film adaptations have the original ending, which I don't want to spoil for you. Positives. The alien tripods do look cool. They got cool laser tentacles and emit this crazy electro blast sound that, if this had been made as a traditional theatrical feature release, would have been gripping. I like that the anonymous hacker Ice Cube hates and is trying to capture ends up being the ally he must join with to try to take down the aliens. That the hacker ends up being his own son, although somewhat poetic, was too far-fetched. Plot convenience playhouse. I do like the whole concept of someone sitting at their computer taking in all of this skewed information about the world and painting it in a very dark way. Catastrophes, apocalypse, Armageddon, and this person takes in all this negativity while never going outside. I kinda love this idea as a concept, but its execution leaves a lot to be desired. And of course, a film of this contrived simplicity makes no attempt at saying something about the situation its main character finds himself in, or using the narrative as a metaphor for many of us who spend far too many hours in front of a computer screen, ingesting negativity. Me as well. Side note, there are some unintentionally hilarious moments. Ice Cube's reactions to crazy events going on around the world. That's no good. Damn. Oh, that's bad. I was ready to accept Ice Cube playing a tech surveillancer, but I was not ready to accept him playing himself as a tech surveillancer. And I'm the last guy to ask about how technology works, but I don't think if the computers on a naval vessel go out, that it immediately falls over, or sinks, or that a fighter plane starts to flip around chaotically, or that oil tankers just drop their load. Then they show air traffic controllers losing their ability to monitor flights. Why are there planes in the air? We're under attack by aliens. They should have landed immediately. That's what the interstate highway system is for, at least according to urban legend.
Respectfully submitted for your perusal.
And although I'm critical of the idea of having a tech surveillance guy act like Ice Cube does give a committed performance. He's not bad. He's actually pretty good in the movie. It just seems counterintuitive to have a tech guy behave that way. He would have been better cast as a CIA agent, and even then that might be a bit of a stretch. There are so many cliches in this script, I'm wondering if it was written by AI. Half the dialogue are cliches. At one point in the movie, Ice Cube and his son have an exchange of dialogue, almost entirely made up of cliches. And this movie has more stock footage than Roger Corman's entire filmography. So yes, it gets revealed that the aliens are here to eat our data. They're here to consume it, to bring it all up, and the reason they're doing that is Phil Coulson has released a surveillance program called Goliath that is collecting all of our data, and for some reason that somehow triggers the aliens to attack us. News broadcasts in the movie show that the data being eaten by the aliens, it shows Wall Street transactions as being lost. It's taken them all away, making us all bankrupt. Great. I'm sure the newscaster just meant the wealthy, not the rest of us. No argument here, thank you, aliens. To me, that only illustrates how worthless most of the quote-unquote wealth that's been stolen actually is. It was just digits on a server. And again, maybe the funniest or most ridiculous line of all, Ice Cube watches a BBC News report on rampant rioting and looting as we are in utter chaos without our most precious resource, our data. Not food, not water, not power, but data. I will say this, people, I doubt this film will be the catalyst for the public to get its button gear about controlling our own data, but it is something we do need to get a handle on, and presently we're not doing much about it. And of course, they changed the traditional ending of the story where the aliens kick our butts up and down the longitude and latitude, and we're only saved by germs that we have become accustomed to, but the aliens had no immunity against.
Yes, science!
Of course, in this version, it's his brilliant daughter working on some science-y special sauce, and that's what saves the day. This is like a parallel universe planet Earth with only about 500 people on it, and Ice Cube knows everybody. This movie, and it barely deserves being called one, is a litany of boxes to check on a screenwriting to-do list. Hero's aria, first act break, midpoint reversal, second act nadir, but it's also forced and unearned. It's basically a series of phone calls without characters having moments to breathe, where worldviews are challenged and arcs are formed, epiphanies earned. And the one place where a film like this sort of action-adventure, although there's not much adventure when the main character sits at his workstation the whole film, or this kind of sci-fi thriller where the main character is caught up in the machinations of the establishment he serves without realizing he's supporting something awful. The great Terry Gilliam movie Brazil comes to mind.
And this is my receipt for your receipt.
And although this movie has that kind of scenario, it's insanely rushed and presented with all the stakes, gravity, seriousness, and inner turmoil of a game of checkers.
King me.
Ice Cube learns that the mysterious anonymous-style hacker he's been after is his own son, and after about 30 seconds of deliberation, Ice Cube, the lone wolf backbone of the NSA, the trusted and loyal believer in the system, joins the resistance. Just like that. I've seen Scooby-Doo cartoons with more soul-wrenching crises of conscience. In less than a minute, he turns from true believer to the red, white, and blue to poster boy for the resistance. If you want to watch a classic sci-fi film based on a classic sci-fi novel, I recommend the 1953 version of War of the Worlds. Or if you want to watch someone watching a bunch of YouTube videos, Rich Lee's adaptation just might be for you. Thanks for clicking in.
Did IQs just drop sharply while I was away? Where you want it?
Bay 12, please.